Hello friends, I am Mohammad Tariq, faculty at Vajiram and Ravi. I am going to take history classes for you, especially modern Indian history. Today we are going to discuss why you should take history as an optional paper for 2025, and if you are interested for 2026 or 2027, still this lecture would help you. The first thing you should keep in your mind that optional subject since is of 500 marks, so it is very important that you choose your optional very carefully. The second point in this is that you choose a subject which should help you in your GS, in essay paper, and in interview also. Now, when I say GS, I mean both. That is, that main exam as well as for prelims exam. So, which subject among all the GS subject is very suitable? There are many, but among them history is one of them. And it is one of the safest subjects in UPSC since British time till date. Now, the first thing which you should keep in your mind after deciding that you are appearing for IS exam, that which optional paper you are going to take is interest. Which subject interests you most? My duty and our duty is to correct some of the myth related to our subjects. Like in history, one of the myth is that it is not scoring. Number two, one of the myth is the syllabus is very vast. Both are wrong. Why both are wrong? Because all the syllabus UPSC has designed other than literature is almost of the same length. Only from outside it look big and small. When you go inside the chapter wise, then it would be almost same. Number two, all optional are scoring. Which subject is less and more scoring? It's a myth created by students themselves and maybe some other people. But when you write a good answer, irrespective of whichever optional you have taken, you would always do well. My own student, our own student here have topped with history, All India topper number 1, and I'm sure you know her name. Similarly, there are many other candidates who have scored in number 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 10 to 30, and in all the positions from the top ranking IAS, IPS, IFS, etc. from subject like history since British days till date. So the myth, you must not believe in it. Now, how history is going to help? In your answer writing, you have to write in GS, in your essay, plenty of words, thousands of words, on an average 200 words in your each GS paper of 20 questions. That means 4,000 words. When you take history, one thing is for sure, that your writing skill is going to be improved, not only of history, but also of your other GS, also of your essay paper, because history is half literature. And the moment we take classes, we would introduce with certain vocabulary. When you would write your answer, you yourself would see how your English, what it was 3 months back, and now there would be huge difference. So that answer writing would help you to score better in essay, to score better in all GS paper, along with history optional. That's a great advantage history has. That is why the success rate of history would be almost same as far as the other subjects, but those who have opted history and his score in essay would be better. His or her score in paper 4, paper 2 and paper 1 would be better. That is a great advantage of subject like history. Another great advantage, when you study history, you develop a holistic approach about entire life. You develop a holistic approach about society, economy, polity, law. When you are writing a particular question, that holistic approach, which I call bird's eye view, would help you to understand that particular question of geography or eco or ethics in much better, because you have read history, and history sense talks about human civilization, culture, economy, polity, law, literature, art and craft, art and culture. So every aspects of life is covered in history. So obviously in different parts of GS also, this understanding which you would develop through history would help. That many students have understood it, so they have taken history optional. Many do not know, that is why they have a myth and they think that it is only important for the optional. But as I told, it is equally important for GS essay. Another important advantage of history: when you have read a subject like history and appear in interview of UPSC, then what happens that on any topic when they would ask, they would definitely ask with certain depth and the width. Now suppose you're talking economy or you're talking science and tech or you're talking about geography, but your history's understanding on that subject would make your answer much more articulated with depth and more analytical power. These are the skill set which you would learn through history classes, since we are here 4 people who are taking different section of history, ancient, medieval, modern and world. So each of you would also tell different techniques of handling a question, different way of reading the subject. So you would know multiple ways of handling a subject and answering your question. So obviously you would be much richer as far as your writing skill is concerned. And writing skill in this exam is key to your success. Don't forget, 85% weightage almost given to written and hardly 15% to interviews. As far as prelims is concerned, we all know it is a qualifying round. Though it is important, but the marks would not be added. You all know that. So why don't you give too much importance to a part which is catching 85% weightage of total marks, and to ensure that you do very well in your main exam, if you have chosen an optional paper like history, you can do better in GS, better in essay, better in interview. That's the holistic approach which you would develop once you have taken history as an optional paper. So these are those advantages which you definitely would get it. Now, many of you may wonder, I never studied history in my school days, in my college days. In IAS exam, almost 90% students who have taken any optional, whether history or geography, political science or anthro, psychology or philosophy or literature, they never studied in your college days or university days. If you study 8 to 9 months carefully, with 5 months coaching and 5 months yourself, but if you have practice with MCQ, PYQs of main, get it tested from some of the faculty here. We will check the copies also. We will also interact one-to-one that what you wrote and what is expected in UPSC exam. We will also discuss the PYQs and what was the demand of the question and what you're supposed to write. This already have done with my other students who have passed or who have already joined for the current batch. So in the classroom itself, you would know the art of handling a question, art of reading the between line wordings of the question, what is expected from this particular question. For instance, when the question was asked from history that after Plassey, India changed from medieval era to modern era, comment. So what are those things which we call medieval? For instance, the political rights, for instance, the economic changes, the technological changes, the changes in the governance pattern, the changes in the army organization, the changes in the educational department, etc. In the modern period, which you notice from second half of 18th century and then whole of 19th century, that is what you are supposed to write, of course, with a brief intro about each of the areas which I mentioned. So it's very interesting, it's very challenging, and it requires 2 levels of approach. One we call macro and one we call micro. So in some places you have to use microscopically that some of the development in the economic field or in the political field, and then some overall the bird's eye view, which I call macro level. So the answer here is both macro and micro level as per the question. For instance, there was another question asked that Gandhi and Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, both wanted to change the condition of Dalit. This was in GS paper. Now, those who have taken optional history can easily answer this question much better than those who have not studied history, that both wanted to end untouchability. But Gandhi believed that caste can be reformed. Ambedkar believed caste must be annihilated. Gandhi believed that Hindu religion is a great religion and it does not require any kind of changes. It is a wonderful faith. And Gandhi himself was a proud Vaishnavite. Ambedkar was highly critical of Hindu faith and he believed it is the reason for caste, which is the reason of untouchability. Now, the moment you read this in classroom or in our notes or in the textbook, you would develop a very good idea about some of the greats of history, from Buddha to Mahatma Gandhi to Vivekananda to Jawaharlal Nehru to Subhash Chandra Bose to various revolutionaries. So what would happen that when you would write, you know what you're writing, and also through them you can also understand various issues of India. You can also understand various issues of world, because some of the common human issues would remain same. Conflict, wars, hatred, love, these are all found in ancient time. It is still found. So how those greats tried to tackle those issues and what you yourself developed an idea, this is going to help you in your essay. This is going to help in your interview. That's what we said, that how history optional would help you to develop a holistic personality. UPSC is looking certain officer-like quality. And that officer-like quality is developed through some of the subjects, generally through humanities and social sciences. In technical subjects, you may be very good in engineering or mathematics and physics, but their application in real life could be limited. It could be limited in that particular job. But history-like subjects would make you a holistic person, a very versatile person, outspoken person, and it would help you developing your confidence level. That is why you must think to take history optional. My suggestion is go through the basics of history books like NCERT of 11th and 12th. Read at least 1 or 2 chapters. See our videos of classes which is available on Vajiram platform, whether you see ancient history or medieval or modern and world, and you would see that each part has certain interesting area, and our teachers try to make it as simple as possible, as structured and organized as possible, and most importantly, as relevant as UPSC expect from you. So you must think to take history as an optional paper for 2025 and 2026 at Vajiram and Ravi, Rajendra Nagar. Thank you very much. May God bless you.